Hello and welcome to Lard Island, where we are about to open the second window on our Advent calendar. And today we turn to our first helpful elf, who's joining us to open the windows on our behalf. Today it is the Housewife's favourite elf. It's Dave Brown himself, who's here to talk to us about his thoughts on the second day of December.
Hello, and welcome to the next window in this year's TooFatLardies Advent Calendar for 2025. Now, behind this window lies an intriguing question from the TooFatLardies themselves. They ask, what aspect of one of your rules do you think works well? After much thought, I decided upon the ADC system used in both General Dame and previously in Pickett's Charge. So what is the ADC system? Well, this is a wargame mechanism designed to introduce two command elements into the wargame. These are command decisions and then management of those decisions, where to deploy your ADCs and for what task. So how do they work? Well, each turn the player will receive a random number of ADCs from the set total determined by dice rolls. So a player could receive anything from, say, just one ADC in the worst case, up to a full complement of, say, 5 or 6 in the best. It is then that the player must choose what to do with these valuable but limited resources. Let's first look at the command decisions a player will need to make. Each turn, the player is presented with a number of potential command decisions. What command and control is the player going to execute over his division for this turn? Now, we're not talking about issuing brand new battle orders each turn. We assume that all our brigadiers have received their battle orders at the beginning of the game, and we don't need to cover this further. What these ADCs represent is a player's or general's command effort or focus at this point in time. These choices can include such things as improving control of a player's brigades, or ordering an infantry brigade into assault, moving brigades forward at the double, or enhancing artillery or skirmish fire for the turn. Let me give some historical examples of this command focus. First, the brigade attachment ADC tasking that permits a brigade to re-roll its initial command or activation roll if you prefer. Now, if the brigade passes its command roll, it will obey orders and act as desired. But if the roll is failed, the brigade will be classed as hesitant and they will not take aggressive action this turn. Now, hesitant does not mean the general is willfully disobeying orders, but rather his brigade is simply not moving or attacking as aggressively as expected at this moment in time. And this is where the brigade attachment tasking comes into play. It's used to re-roll the activation result to ensure, or hopefully ensure, that the brigade continues with its mission for this turn. One historical equivalent of this brigade activation re-roll comes from the Battle of Waterloo, when Marshal Ney dispatched one of his ADCs to, let's say, speak with one of his brigadier generals. The quote goes, "The Marshal, indignant at the hesitation of the general, sent me to tell him to carry the position at the charge." So why did Ney need to do this? Because as Ney surveyed the battle in front of him, he observed that this particular general was holding back and needed some classic Ney-style encouragement to get the job done. That's what our ADC tasking represent. The brigadiers being actively encouraged by the divisional or corps commanders to stay on mission and not hold back. Another example is the artillery assault fire tasking, which is used to enhance the fire of a battery for a turn. Now, under normal conditions, batteries fire at a very steady rate, often just one gun firing at a time before the next. This was done to conserve ammunition and general wear and tear on the battery and men. However, there were times when batteries enhanced their fire rate, including firing by section, firing by half battery, or even, in extremis, firing all guns at once. The artillery assault fire ADC tasking represents the order being given by senior officers for a battery to engage in this increased fire rate. Indeed, how many times in battle accounts have we read phrases such as, "The artillery were ordered to redouble their efforts," just prior to a major assault in a Napoleonic battle? Now let's take a quick look at the management of these limited ADC resources. The ADC mechanism presents the players with a limited number of resources each turn, often forcing the players to focus command effort in just one battlefield spot. This produces both interesting and often challenging demands upon a player, who will invariably have too few ADCs to carry out all his planned taskings for the turn. For instance, a player may wish to launch a major infantry assault against an important objective such as a village or a redoubt, whilst also needing to urgently push up supporting cavalry to protect a vulnerable flank. The limited number of ADCs will often mean only one of those important demands can be carried out, and the player must judge which is the most vital at this point in time. So, there we have the ADC mechanism, which tries, as best one can in a war game, to reflect the pressured environment of battlefield command decisions that the senior officers and generals of the Black Powder era operated within. The ADC mechanism brings an element of command and control into the game, hopefully giving players interesting command decisions each turn. These ADC taskings are an easy to manage mechanic and regularly produce moments of high drama when they succeed, or especially when they fail. But they are nonetheless firmly rooted in the history of the period we are gaming, mirroring just some of the battlefield decisions of the Napoleonic or American Civil Wars, or, as the TooFatLardies would succinctly put it, are historically plausible.